There is a sentence that I have read before that teaches us also that that forgiveness is really correction in the mind of the person that needs to forgive, and that we are all on this road here on earth. Correction is not in the mind of the other person that has hurt us. That other person has to do it himself or herself. We are only concerned with ourselves here. Each of us has to go through this process, and there is no escape. Let us not waste time. Let us use time constructively. But a beautiful sentence. I love the sentence. Let us use time constructively. All right, let's see what I find today in the Course in Miracles that I would like to read for you. Okay? On forgiveness. This time is from the workbook. It's one of the workbook lessons. The unforgiving mind is full of fear. Fear, ladies and gentlemen. So if the unforgiving mind is full of fear, what does this mean? Does this mean that only the person that has hurt you is full of fear? No. As long as we do not forgive, our minds, my mind, the one that accepted the pain and the hurt, is also fearful. Fearful of what? Fearful of the person that did the harm to us? Apparently, yes. But deep down, it goes much further than that, ladies and gentlemen. We learn that all fears, in the plural, may it be the fear of a person that hurt us, or the fear of taking the subway, or the fear of going on an aeroplane, all fears come from that first fear that we had of the separation from our source, and of the retaliation and the punishment that we think we will get if we try and go back home, home with a capital H, back to our source. So fear on earth takes many forms, but in the end, it all comes from our fear of retaliation from our source. And so, this is why we have to get back to the helpers, to the system, so to speak, of our source. You may call our source God. So that we get an understanding and a reversing of our thoughts that there is no retaliation up there. That the loving light and the loving God is not going to hurt anybody. But we are doing that to ourselves here while we are on earth. We don't need any more hurt. We don't need any more retaliation. We're going to do it down here until we get so tired that we decide to stop. Okay? Forgiving mind is full of fear. And I continue to read this sentence. And offers love no room to be itself. What a fantastic thought. Every time we allow our minds to continue to be so full of fear, ladies and gentlemen, friends, listen to this. We not only are allowing the other person no space to grow towards the light, but we are also blocking that space within our minds. Okay? So let me go back to this sentence and read the whole paragraph, because it is very beautiful. All right? Quote, the unforgiving mind is full of fear and offers love no room to be itself, no place where it can spread its wings in peace and soar above the turmoil of the world. Unquote. Now, isn't this a beautiful image? When we allow ourselves to think loving thoughts, we are ready to fly. The image of wings, having wings and be able to fly. What a relief. Just think of that image. When you are in fear, you are in a prison. You do not have wings, or even if you have them, you cannot fly because you are enclosed. You don't have the space. You may live in a palace with 100 rooms in Florida, or somewhere in England, another palace with 59 rooms, of which 35 are living rooms or bedrooms or whatever. You may be there, but you may have no place to fly because you are in fear and you block your wings as well as the other person's wings. Think of a bird. And if you go out or even in New York, you may be able to see sometimes bands of birds flying together until they disappear in the horizon. And this is exactly you when you let the space of love extend and expand. When you ask for help to forgive the other person and to forgive yourself, what you're really doing is to forgive yourself, to let go of the fear. When you do that, the space within you extends in peace and in love. And so does the other person's. But of course the other person may refuse it. You may even go to the other person and say, here, I have beautiful sentences for you. I have a beautiful thought for you. Listen, you are not a nasty person. In spite of what you did to me, you are loving. And I forgive you. Now, if this person is not ready for any of this, the person may just laugh at you. If he has some feelings, or she may not say anything at the moment, but he's laughing at you. Depends on his grade of insanity. He may even tell you, oh yeah, you forgive me, so you're ready for more. Boom! I knocked your head off this time. Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, we are dealing here with a duality in our minds. The insanity is incredible. Some people are not ready to even hear the word forgiveness. Some people are not ready to do it, much less hear about it. All they want is to go on hurting themselves. They don't realize that what you put out there, it comes back to you. They have not been taught that. And they may be 80 or 90 or 60 years old. They may not be ready to hear it. Because now they may think, or we may think it's too late. Their minds have been distorted. And so we cannot impose forgiveness on these people. All right? So does this mean because the person is in this stage that we cannot handle our thoughts ourselves? No. It's up to us, the ones that are involved with any of this spiritual path, to do some work with our minds. All right? Okay. Now let's see what else I have here for you. The same in the workbook. Oh, here is another sentence. The unforgiving mind sees no mistakes but only sins. Wow, unquote. Well, those of us who have been brought Catholics, we know what we're talking about, sins. But we may not understand this sentence at all. What's the difference between mistakes and sins? Ha. Sins call for punishment. Right away, when we think of sin, we think of punishment. Mistakes call for correction. How important is this distinction? We all make mistakes. I have another sentence for you. We all make errors in our ways of thinking. That's what I meant when I talk about the duality in our minds, okay? We have erroneous thoughts built in, but we also have righteous thoughts in our minds. So when we are in trouble, we ask the right part of our mind to help us. If you think that that the person has sinned, and if you don't see a chance for anything else but retaliation, then you cannot forgive. If you see in the other person's errors that can be corrected, then you are ready for forgiveness. And it does not matter how big or how little the problem is. We have heard of people who murder people, and then the family members forgive the murderer. Now we have to be very careful here, because I know there are lots of people out there, lots of egos, little selves that are now telling me, oh, she's saying, all right, people shouldn't go to prison. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that there are people out there who have forgiven the worst murders in the world. There are others who have forgiven the murders of a loving member of their families. And what a great thing to do, because the ones that forgive will be relieved forever. As to the murderer, he will have, or she will have, a lot of work to do with their minds. But again, it's up to them. So forgiveness for you and for me and for all of us has nothing to do with going directly to the person, have a talk, have a conversation, or write them a letter. As I said before, you can do all of those things. But you'll have to handle your thoughts with the help of the higher self. All right? So there are all kinds of problems, all kinds of ways of doing forgiveness. That's fine if you go to the other person and the person is ready and you tell this person certain things about love and our source, and the person is so grateful, the person may be ready to do the forgiveness in their minds too, and then it is beautiful. I say again, it takes two to get irritated, but it takes one to heal. All right? You may be in a situation where you feel that you are trapped for life. No, you are not. There is always a way out, ladies and gentlemen. Think about it. I would like to say goodbye. And I would like to thank you. I'd like to thank all of you that have listened to me tonight. And wish you the well. Enjoy your life. Get rid of stress and pain. Remember love. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, dear friends.